Welcome to Catching Up with the Troubles Talk, where we're
Oh
going to
yeah.
go over everything that's happened before the events of Berksel at the theater. So, from the start of the story with just four characters to where we're at once we started recording, right? So, I'm going to let Logan take a big chunk of this. I'm going to be here if I think anything's important. I guess I'm putting this on you now, but you have definitely way better note taking in terms of like detail and like organization. So I'm just gonna let you do your thing. Tell it how you want. Make it fun if you want, or make it funny, or your choice, right? Um, yeah, I think let's get into it because it's not gonna take that long. I think we can have some fun with it and reminisce about some things. um,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I said, I'll butt in if I got anything. I'll try not to be annoying and or disrespectful.
You're chilling, but remind me though, we started combat. The first episode on YouTube was combat and the dancing lantern. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that it was.
It
Well,
wasn't before. I don't remember because it was
pulling it
like
up.
that session. I don't know if it started. We should know this. I
I'm
know,
pulling it up.
but um, yeah, I can't remember if it was started there or not because there were a couple sessions in between you guys doing your things there.
Yep. Uh,
Basically started over again, and
Because the
I don't
ibex
know,
fight
I
was
just
there,
feel like I didn't want to
but I don't
devote
think the
my
game thing
entire
was.
life
so
to
we did
something that I
start the
wasn't even sure
combat
existed.
in that episode.
See, yeah, I've
You
It
spent
started
was
the
like
like
combat in that episode.
yes, it was you doing the play
Mm-hmm.
and everything like the first time, and us like talking with the Iniquitous Four, and then the combat started. We didn't finish it in that episode, but it started in that episode.
Cool. And then the combat when you fought the ibex in the penthouse,
Yeah,
that was choppy too. That was around that time.
and that was before. That was before.
That was before,
That
yeah.
was
Yeah,
before.
that was before. That was like a session before, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna also, just so everyone's aware, anybody watching, I'm gonna do my best to, while he's talking about what he's talking about, I'm gonna try and flip through scenes on my side. So you're gonna see me like switching cameras to things that I think might be important for what he's talking about. If he like mentions specific items that we've acquired, like specifically this campaign is big around map pieces and a map in general. So I'm gonna try and like hop back and forth between that, so you get an understanding of what you might have missed because he's done a really great job of making items. It sucks obviously because we play online, but still,
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
alright.
cool stuff. And there's some things we haven't used yet. Like I'm looking back now at this alchemy table. I don't think we ever actually
Nope.
used.
That story thread hasn't followed through, which might be a good thing because you guys are again following through
Yeah.
a lot
Was
of them
this
at the same
was
time.
this
So,
with the
but
the dark book
that
or
was
something?
that what you found that on the table when you were fighting Sludge.
Oh, okay. Wow. Holy crap.
His underground thing. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, just disclaimer: if like the screen starts moving around and you forget our wonderful faces, that's why.
Mhm.
So, I
So,
take it
alright,
away, brother.
cool. I won't go too far back. We'll just go start of the campaign.
Yep.
If Orion wants to delve deeper into his backstory, it all started with him and he had a brother. Fun fact: I don't think he didn't make it to the recorded episodes. Um,
Just his dead body.
just his dead body. Yep, yep, yep. Um, but it all started on a boat sailing from the Stone Spire somewhere in the Corgan Sea towards a destination that was uncertain after a, you know, questionable series of events that led into a little bit of chaos and a squished fish. Um,
No.
but yeah, you were on you and your brother, Orion and his brother Lucius, were stowaways on a military-like ship heading towards Redshaw, which is one of the regions within this world. Unknowing anything really about this region or what all this military equipment was setting sail over there for, wasn't really important to them, given their dire circumstances played out in a one shot, which is super fun. And yeah, eventually it became night. You guys woke up one night and decided it might be best to
Get
start
on out of there.
getting on out of there. And you know that I think it was 13 days, 13 moons. You had to wait until you're at Red Shaw after.
13 moons ago, I have since we left.
So it was like 14 or 15 then.
Yeah, and we had
You were
3
like a
days.
day or two
Never
out.
mind. That's after.
Yeah, you had like a day or two out before you arrived at
Yep.
the location. And you decided it'd be
Couple
best to
nights.
up and move around.
Hmm.
You knew that there was some sort of vault like contraption on the ship. That'd be best to go explore and not get caught. Lucius saw a key hook on the captain's belt. Decided to head up there, go to the captain's quarters, and try to find it. Turns out, captain's a little clumsy. Knocked over an oil lantern, started a fire on the ship, and slowly lingered throughout, crackling boards as you guys went back downstairs, acting like nothing was going on.
Wow.
The cargo on board the ship, which is slightly important for the context situation, some armor, some weapons of all sorts, from swords to crossbows to heavy artillery style contraptions, as well as a bunch of gunpowder. Whatever was going on, whatever plan that this region needed is pretty substantial, it seems, for who knows why. Uh, Sucks for them. Lucius and Orion jumped off the ship just before it exploded as the fire was raging towards the under side, the storage chamber, and the front of the ship. And the crashing waves, the dark sky, stars above, clear night, no fog in the sky, unlike the rest of the campaign, and a big flash of explosion while Lucius and Orion jumped in the water, able to do so and survived, but they both fell unconscious. They
I'm grabbing music real quick. Hold on. I was like, it's way too quiet.
okay.
You're good. Keep going.
Okay.
Just want something in the background.
Eventually, Lucius and Orion woke up, found themselves on who they now know is Captain Furman's ship, sailing somewhere in a fog-covered sky. Around them, an unfamiliar sight as they were
I
rolled
didn't mean
into
to
the
press
docks of of sweet Port Malik.
Oh
Lucius
yeah.
and Orion woke up on Captain Furman's ship, and soon to be named location Port Malik.
Yeah.
With that, you had it was a fun start. I didn't like over the table. The ship was gonna explode.
I
There were
remember you
multiple
saying
ways
that.
that it would have going to. It just so happened to go the way that it did. But just for like story's sake,
Wow.
it was highly preferred that the ship went boom and you guys fell unconscious for certain reasons. So
I also want to make it known that this campaign started. It was 24, right? Or did we start it in 23? I think we started it like around
started in
January,
2023.
February. Oh, it was 2023 in like December or November, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so we started November 23, still playing. I'm just gonna say April 25. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was
Now,
supposed
on
to
and off
be.
too.
And it was supposed to be
A couple months.
a couple months.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
Yeah.
But over the table, the ship exploding.
Yes. Ship went boom. And yeah, for reasons that still have not been discovered yet. That's why y'all are here. But with that, you found yourself, Lucius and Orion woke up on Captain Furman's ship. Very welcoming. Kind of didn't question the fact that you were in the water. Maybe have found a couple more people or creatures than fish while he was out on his journeys, as he's an avid fisherman and he goes out on fishing journeys a lot, catching all sorts of tropical fish if you were to sit and talk with him. Yes, he'd talk your ear off. Very passionate man.
Yeah. When he gets to talk
Anyway.
to him. Too much.
Yes,
Not too much.
not yet. You guys continue to roll through Port Malik. Get off the boat. You met his
Yep.
nephew, Fabian, and while you guys were sitting there, you met the first time Orpheus as he came
Mhm.
rolling on through.
Oh,
You
they
saw
were in
his this was described in another video as well. But
Yep.
he is a wizard that drives some sort of carriage, and the carriage is like, I mean, it's a smaller, typical size carriage, and you step inside, and there's a nice sprawling tavern. Orpheus is everywhere, and a Pegasus on the front. You guys had a conversation with him, drank some ale from around the island, and fought some giant rats
in
because
the barn.
combat in the in the
For-
in the old abandoned
I
barn.
think Lucius missed twice. I remember. It was funny. Damn. That was
Did they-
before. Yeah, there was just 2 players at that time.
It was just you guys,
Yeah.
and then we had like a couple weeks off, and then
Mhm.
we started the actual
Yep.
the other 2 joined. So, and yeah, you guys did your thing.
Stayed
Nice
the
and easy
night.
work against the rats. Yeah. And then took it easy. Took a long rest after that as you woke back
Big
up.
battle.
Captain Furman.
Yep.
Yep. Captain Furman introduced you to one of his other deckhands, who you all know as Peaches.
Peaches.
First time you saw this tiefling individual working processing fish, and not knowing where you were, trying to figure out how and why you were here. You got Lucius and Orion, that is. You guys asked Peaches just some basic questions. Captain Furman mentioned you could go to talk to D back in town, and Peaches had some deliveries to do. So you guys set off and did your things on the way. Goblins attacked because they like the smell of fish. I guess. And horses ran off, which are still missing to this day.
Yes. Dude, I totally forgot about that. And we did
Yep.
for the longest time. We were like, yeah, we don't want to go back because we don't have this horse. Wow,
Right,
it took
yep.
us so long to go back.
It did. You were avoiding it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. That's what, like, I was leading up to what happened. I
Man.
was so anxiously, almost impatiently waiting for the moment that you guys would decide to go back because of what happened,
Mhm.
what had unfolded. Later in the campaign, anyway.
I think that one's
that's-
actually recorded. Me?
Yes,
no,
yeah.
no. No.
With the boat.
No, I'm thinking with the horses. Yeah, with
No.
the like when we
Yeah.
went back. I don't think that was recorded. We hadn't gone
When
to
you- I
Birchland
think-
yet. No, because remember we went to Ace
But you.
and then
Oh, when you came back to
I'm talking
Bassville.
about. No, I'm talking about when we came back to Port Malik. That wasn't recorded. Not
the first
this last time. Not this last time.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah. I
one
see what you
before
mean, I
that.
see what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
right. You know, a lot of looping back and
Yeah,
forth.
sorry.
but
I'm gonna reminisce a lot here. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're chilling.
Yeah.
You
Oh, shit.
guys
How do I do this?
fought some goblins who you realized were later in the next session, 2 sessions after that,
Frick.
they were staying on top of Mount Bassfall. But Peaches, Lucius, and Orion ventured into the nearest town from nearest populated town, I should say, from Port
Switching
Malik,
screens.
which is Bassfall. And you met Darmos and Carl, who you guys know, the rogue swashbuckler,
Mm-hmm.
causing mayhem, and he was a weaponsmith. Had a little bit of a thieving past, a little thievish background, and decided to kind of see what was going on. At this point, you guys were just trying to figure it out, kind of lost. In game, out of game, I'm assuming too, because you were like heading towards a certain location and redirected.
Yeah.
And yeah, talked to D and in her general store. This was like base level D. No cool, nothing yet, just mom.
I don't even think I actually.
And
Oh no, I did put her down in my notes.
early on.
Yeah. Just says D shop.
Yep.
Yeah, historical books with a
Um,
little like mark like leading to. It's like it's a little ways down the page, but it leads to historical books.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all the historical books are missing. And
Yeah.
it was your goal for a little bit to try to collect some.
I haven't been able to
You
give
have some.
her any.
No.
Yeah.
You gave her the last time you went back. You did give her.
Yeah.
Some.
Yeah.
You gave her some of the just some typical books, but
Well,
um,
just so you guys know, D is a fine aged wine, and Orion was very set on drinking that wine, but he's now would rather just share a glass with her.
Yep.
There we go. That's a good way to put that.
yes, Diaxa and Orion.
Yeah.
Sitting in a tree doing their thing.
It literally says D shop Diaxa MILF. I'm not even
Nice.
joking. I remember.
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember. It sounds like I'm running down MILF. Yeah.
She's finally wine age woman. It's a good way to put it. But however, you guys, you went to the general store.
Yep.
Small town. You met Taika. He owns a soap shop.
3 feet tall.
Ferryman, very jacked ferry, making soaps and flying around the island collecting resources, claiming that they're magical. Are they? Probably not, but let him decide.
Yep.
And who else is there?
There's
just those two, right?
Did you mention Darmos?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I missed
Darmos,
it. Yeah.
Darmos and Carl.
Larry.
He and then Taika.
I think that's from basketball.
Pretty sure early on that was only them because
That was it.
Timon was a different and D mentioned that they were having a goblin problem.
No.
And basically was like, hey, we'll just let you stay here for free. Oh, and you know what? I forget my notes. What's his name?
There you go.
Frick.
What? Well, we met someone else, but that was going to the next location.
But there's another.
Did we meet them?
Yeah.
Huh.
The Vedius, the dwarf at the inn, at the Wimbo Inn.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
that
lived
he-
there,
yeah.
yeah.
I forgot about him. He's again, small town feels, and everybody knows everybody. I don't know if you met them that session or not,
I
but
don't
my
think-
brain was going that way.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I think that was after.
I think that was when you got back from
Yeah.
going to Mount Basswell. Anyway, you're talking to D. She said she'd help you out. Peaches and Carl being in a small town, kind of felt like that was the best thing to do, so you headed up to Mount Bassfall, wanting to initiate into some combat as a paladin, getting the evil away, and Lucius just wanting to, make wall red. You sit up there, camped out for the night, hiked up the hill over some precarious falling bridges, and
Doing the worm.
yes, doing the worm, because Carl was very much attracted to or
Stealing-
scared of Lucius.
Stealing the bed rolls.
Yep. Forgot about that. That's troublemakers for you.
Before Steven.
Yeah. Eventually, they settled down for the night near the apex of Mount Bassfall before they entered into the lower level of the fog. And as they woke up, they continued to travel through, and at the near the peak of the mountain is a set of double doors, heavy double doors, and they entered in through, and it looks like it's some sort of abandoned, some sort of structure on the inside. And as you're walking through, there were goblins you guys fought. Uh, multiple different ways to go. There's a prison. Looks like some sort of smaller, like almost like a community sense in here. There's sleeping quarters, library. There's a tavern and also a fighting arena where Bianca, a overconfident goblin, to say the least, with a sword that was way too big for her and a chest piece that was way too heavy for her. She came out challenging the players, and before she could even finish what she was saying, the door blew off its hinges and a golden creature came out from within the storage area. That was the first
This was a bigger golden creature.
introduction. He's the big guy. You haven't seen these guys.
Yeah.
And fought them. It was hurt. Also buffed down, so I didn't TPK. And yeah, fought them. Did your thing. Mentioned it to D. She turned into her cool sorcery self, waved her hand, and one of the barrels in the shop opened up. Some sort of a natural stone slide you guys entered through, and some sort of chamber on the bottom where she said that her and a group of individuals kind of hid out during the war on the island, which was the ogres were native to this island. People just kind of came here, and they for decades worked seamlessly together and created a sense of community. And one day, randomly, without warning, they just switched and started causing havoc, and we're winning. So because of this, all the powerful individuals, some sorcerers, druids, and other higher powers connecting the gods to the planet, got together, did their thing. This is what D said is the main planning quarters. Yeah, gave you some information. Said that an individual called Timon would be best to go and talk to. She hasn't talked to him in a while for some sibling related issues. Half siblings, because lizard folk and elf.
Have you? I'm sorry. Did you mention the map piece?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Not yet.
So I'm gonna put it on screen anyways.
Okay. That was. I couldn't remember if that was before or after. I was gonna mention after when you guys were.
Yeah, I think it was. I thought that was the reason we went to Mount Basfall though, was because we got the map piece.
I think that was the incentive.
Yeah.
If you he was gonna give you the map piece for free if you took care of the goblin issue. Pretty sure that's what that was. And then he told Darmos, and he's like, "Go talk to D."
Yeah.
And
that was our
then
first map piece.
Yeah, found that hanging on the wall, just basically on display. Not
It was.
any
It was
use of
framed.
it. Yeah, and the picture was taken on my garage floor because trying to make it look like a stone wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, doing a tingy. Dude, what kind of notes did I freaking take this early on, dude? It's like, it's too much.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I also think it's bullshit later on in Curville Hill, so I got the only splotched number
What do you mean?
on the construction card. I had the one missing numbers.
Yeah.
Or a
I thought
number.
it'd make it interesting for you instead of just making it boring one. Anyway, yes, you went to D. She did fancy sorcerer stuff, and Cody go get Timon, which she hasn't talked to because sibling issues. And said that Timon was in Curville Hills. So, with nothing better to do, and not knowing really where to lead, which y'all still don't. I don't know. Yeah, aimless in causing trouble, which is kind of your thing, and I'm here for it. So here for it. But yeah, you headed out towards Curville Hills, which was a couple days journey out.
Whew. So excited for this part.
Yep. And continue to walk through. guys
Oh my god, there was even that.
saw different forks and splits in the road. At first, your journey was pretty uneventful. You came
Mhm.
across sprawling, miles wide and miles long farm fields being managed and maintained by Cyclopses or Cyclops. I don't know how to actually correctly say it. I apologize. And one of them seemed to be slightly upset by you guys approaching closer. Some sort of weird effect was placed over them, or some sort of possessive energy, especially towards Lucius. And you met a frog creature. I think they were. Is Olak a grung?
He was he was a little frog guy.
Little frog guy, and he's a lot of fun. Can't really understand him. Might meet him again, so stick around to to see what that
In my notes
entails.
I have Muffin Man.
Yes. Um,
Farmer Cyclops. Muffin Man.
he's a grunk. Little fun guy.
Yep.
You guys approached Agmore Farms after Olak held his necklace that
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about this part. He was that
Oh
3
no.
Yeah. He held his necklace and
Mhm.
it some way and somehow harnessed the energy from within him or within the necklace to seem to calm down the Cyclops. Not control them, but seem to calm it back down. The rogue and Carl and Lucius tried to steal it 4 times and rolled like dog, so didn't really happen.
And then they
And
pulled someone's
probably for
pants
the
got
best.
pulled. I remember someone's pants
Yeah.
got pulled down. I don't remember who it was, but someone's.
It was probably Lucius's.
Because I don't think Olak was wearing
Carl doing
pants.
that. It was Olak.
It was
No,
Olak. Okay, yeah.
It 100% was Olak.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to leave and Carl was like, I'm gonna pants him.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
Lucius did. One of the two.
Yep.
And this was a long time ago. Tried to pants him and try to make him, do better. Didn't work. And Olak took you on a little tour. It was far. Yeah, he's just a chill guy. He's a lot of fun. He was just like a goof character, like a little side NPC to. He's just. I just thought it'd be fun to have a little grung individual who talks like that and has that kind of mentality.
Yep.
And smarts to be controlling these giant creatures. And just maintaining literally the whole entire yield of produce and agriculture for the whole entire island by the Cyclops. So he's a cool guy, and maybe we'll see him again. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But after that hour-long journey, in real life, you guys headed back towards the trail itself.
Oh, I think I went straight to Curville Hills after that.
Yeah, you were cooking the Wretched Curville Hills. At one of the junctions, though, Fred noticed some smoke coming from the forest and decided to look at it, take it in, voice that he took it in, and looked at it. Kept walking.
Pressed on.
Yep, just pressed on. And which is chill and
So stupid.
Orion or Lucius, you threw a rock to Carl.
Carl threw the rock at the Cyclops. I think that happened before. I think it happened beforehand, like as we were walking.
But
oh
you
no,
also...
maybe it was as we were leaving.
You might have been, but you also threw a rock at each other to see how far you could throw it.
No, okay. That wasn't until we left Curville Hills.
That was going to Port Ace.
Yeah, that was going to Port Ace, and I think that's also
with
with the smoke was going to Port Ace.
That's also the smoke.
Yeah,
I'm getting confused.
you're fine.
Everything's all joining together. Damn it.
We're looping.
That happened. Sometime. Yeah, I think
Curville
you're
Hills.
just close to Curville
Yeah.
Hills then, right?
My favorite location to this day. To this day.
Timon shop was there, the outskirts. He's built into one of the rolling hills, and entered on inside. Saw Timon. talked to Timon, and then left.
Yep.
And
Corgan in.
headed into the town, to the Corgan,
Yep.
where
We met.
now Lazador was after that.
Lazador was after that. I have it in here.
Yeah, he was after that. Yes. You guys did head to the Corgan to. I gotta pull up my.
Met your little cat fellow.
Yeah, Mr. Tabaxi man. After a while, after you got checked in, he went to your room and greeted himself and introduced himself.
Because there's still four
Called
of
you
us.
guys yep. It used to be just 4 you guys. Called you guys the Iniquitous Four, some sort of the locals on the island that are kind of into the crime
Oh, man,
organization.
that's
They
crazy.
are like the most well-known crime family on the island. They are known for mostly cat burglary. They aren't very threatening, nor, as it's gone to show, are they very capable of a fight. They're usually in and out cat burglars. But yeah, you met Timon right before that, and then Zeralos, the Tabaxi man. He offered you some coin so that he would really appreciate if you guys acquired the loot from Windy Strings.
500 gold pieces.
500 gold pieces. And of course, the troublemakers wouldn't turn something like that down.
Oh, fuck no. And we got some really cool magic items. But some of those were lost, sadly, later on. But I think that was a very fun time. And I still personally think that it was like, I've said this in one of our talks, like, favorite moment out of the campaign was the first heist. We've had the boat heist, and we've had that heist. Fucking loved that first one because I felt like we all played an individual role, and it like went almost as smooth as it could have. So
yeah,
it was fun.
For sure.
Granger, we're
Shut
the ones
up.
who pay attention to every little detail.
But
We're
yes,
the ones who fuss, tinker,
for
and select
them,
the small stuff.
Hold on.
Because you know the
decided
tiniest thing
to-
can make the
There's an
biggest
ad
difference
playing.
when it comes to keeping business moving.
There we go. You're fine.
The four of them, for the original troublemakers, decided to take him on, and with the promised loot and other items to use, it was the rope of affixment, it was the dagger,
Yeah.
the gold pieces,
And then the loot.
and the loot, which was his though. You gave it
Yeah.
back to him.
Yeah.
So you don't have any of the magic items that you were.
Well, no. When did we get the stolen screams? When was that?
That was them.
That was then. Okay. And that just recently got lost. Wow.
Yep. And
Damn.
the rope of affixment's gone.
That rope and affixment, dude. I'm telling you, that would have been so useful so many
For sure.
times.
Yeah, 100%.
Ah.
Yep. Anyway,
Successful.
Yeah.
To a degree.
to a degree. You guys went, stole the thing, snuck in, saw some gold mites in there as you opened the cash register, and fought them. Came outside.
Caused the scene.
While you were outside, you caused a scene, got the loot. Right when you're about to leave, Lucia's still on the top floor going to get his rope that he is now in his backpack. Orion, I think you saw this. You saw an individual starting to approach, and then a sound of an arrow shot, and then just vanish out of existence.
Yep.
With the cloak still remaining on the grounds.
So the archer guy,
Charles now.
or archer individual, has been around since then.
Yep.
Wow, we're still seeing that person too. We still don't know who they
Over
are.
the table, same person.
Wow.
And also, over the table. Speak of which, the very first session when you went on to Orvius's Wandering Tavern, when you were sitting at the bar and Lucius saw this individual cloaked up staring at you guys, and then walked over and they vanished from sight. Same person.
Bro, I thought for the longest time, I thought that Lucius was also seeing visions of our mom, and I thought that's what that was.
No, he's not here anymore, so you wouldn't be able to follow through with that. But yeah, that's the same.
Wow.
They've been following you.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
What's their fucking agenda, dude? What do we do? We're just existing.
know.
He didn't
Yeah.
like how Lucius looked at him. I don't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That wouldn't have gotten brought back up because you guys, Lucius isn't here
Yeah,
to
yeah,
bring
yeah.
back up the past of you guys. So
Dude.
all over the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, as
A
opposed to our last talk, bomb drop.
little bit. It's about that
Wow.
time. Stuff like that starts to come out. But
Yeah.
yeah, over the table, same person. It's been a fun time. They
Yeah.
are having a little bit of trouble right now because you guys entered through that portal. But
Ah.
sure, we'll see them again.
I hope we do.
Nonetheless, where are we at? A little
So
side tangent.
yeah, I saw that guy. We
Um,
got out with the loot. We got away when there were guards arriving. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember I
Yeah.
tried to punt a gold mine into the water, but I missed and I got mad. But
Yep. Rolled a natural one.
yeah,
And
we dipped out.
full sprinted too. Didn't even try to stealth.
Just dipped out.
And once you
We
saw
had
the guards
jackass
coming,
though at this
you
point
dipped out.
too. Huge thing we missed. We had a donkey that we stole from Bassfall when we left to
to
Kerwin
make
Hills.
up for the horses that ran away.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that. I'm
You
sorry.
tried to-
I probably
No, you're good.
okay.
I couldn't. That's
Yeah.
like that one part specifically.
Yeah,
You guys went to basketball 3 times,
yeah,
and they all joined together for me.
Yep. yeah. So yeah, the first time
So it's like
we stole the
if
donkey.
that was the first time you stole
Yeah.
Jackass. I wasn't sure if that was the first or the second time.
Yes.
Because like y'all spent there was 2 or 3 sessions in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The progression was
Yep. And Lucius, yeah, and Lucius named the donkey too.
yes.
Lucius named Jackass. But that's a super important detail.
Mhm.
Although I think by the time that it's revealed, it's already known that Jackass is a jackass.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, but still, that to put into perspective of how long we've had that donkey, and he turns into a fucking person. Like, we had that donkey for like weeks.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's been in the party for longer than
Yeah.
most of their party members.
And then, yeah. No, seriously. And you can't say, well, we did a really bad job, but like at least we did enough of a good job to keep it around. I think there were times we almost lost it, but I think
there were times,
Yeah.
dude. I slowly started to get harder and harder on you guys for
Yeah.
not remembering about him.
Yeah.
He's,
He's
I had some fun plans before
Yeah.
I sat and talked to Thor and Eyes about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an important character. The
Yeah.
troublemaker. There's a whole side quest session.
Yeah.
Trying to find him, which was that was fun. Anyway, yep, cloak fell.
Back
Car
to
picked
the
up the cloak.
Corgan.
Is wearing cloak still right now, with hole in it.
Mm.
And yeah, you guys after that did your thing. Went back to headed back towards the front of Kerville Hills, where you met Gunther and his grandson. This older gentleman and his grandson. They were standing outside Time and Shop. You guys asked some questions. They didn't seem to, really know too much about it. They haven't seen Time in there, and just didn't really know what was really going on at that point. After that, there was the reason why you went into the woods.
It was to get. Is because we were told.
You were told by Zeralis again, right?
Blue string golden design on something. Unless that was for
He wanted his
yeah,
blue string.
his
Yes,
blue
yeah,
strings. Yeah, we
To
and
get
then we
to
were
put on
told
top of the loot.
to go
Gotcha.
to this like place of worship or whatever. Not really
Yep.
knowing that, but
That was the temple in which
wait,
Iguchichi stored all of their uh like musical
yeah,
instruments and
I
items
just
like that.
looked. So was the other route of this campaign if we went to Mithril after Curval? I'm assuming it
That
was one of the routes, but I have it in my notes. So by this point we knew about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What if we went there? We haven't even been there yet.
No, that would have been different. That is another route that you could have taken. You also could have taken like the
An
side,
easier route.
which is really cool. It's yes, 100%. But like the side quest of going to do the loot robbery turned into the main quest
Yeah, I
because of
loved
the
it.
decisions you made. So it's
Yeah.
like because you chose to do that, you now have. I mean, Zeralis is considered an ally to you guys. He'd do anything unless
yeah.
he found out that you guys aren't actually the Iniquitous Four. Then, I mean, if anything, I think his dreams would just be crushed. He just wouldn't know what to do with his life anymore because he was lied to again.
Yeah.
However,
Well, actually,
if he finds that out and actually gets to meet the Iniquitous Four, maybe
Well,
that'd be kind of cool.
I just saw.
What's up?
Sorry, yeah, a funny parallel. Now looking at it, Lucius was the one we called Nordjor. It's kind of funny and a weird parallel that they both died. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was Jornor,
Yeah.
Carl was Rant, and Peaches was Hilarious.
Yep.
That's crazy. But yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
And then, yeah, there's multiple different ways that this campaign could have started.
Yeah.
And it's all like, honestly, it's all like, what happened in a more recent session would have happened no matter where you were on the island.
Cool.
So because of the decisions that you guys made and the consequences
Yeah.
of your actions, it happened the way that it did. But for other reasons, it would have been a similar outcome.
Okay.
For that reasons that you were not in control of. So it's like you guys are right where it was supposed to be heading. Not in like a like I hope I didn't railroad you guys, but like it's a it just would happen anyway. You guys just would have been a different point.
Yeah.
But even if y'all left, y'all could still leave.
True.
But yes, you headed into the forest after your newfound Tabaxi friends. Another request offered you some more gold, and had offered you to, told you to head towards a shrine.
Yep.
Where this treasure was being kept by Iguchichi. Saw a couple native wildlife creatures, headed in, and
Stupid puzzle.
yeah.
Cool puzzle.
It's
Peaches-
hard to
Peaches
yeah.
made it hard.
She
in
did,
my opinion.
overcomplicated it.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, it is also hard to
Yeah.
like not be in person though, and just describe it.
I wrote it
That's
down.
also true. You could just write it down. But yeah, eventually you figured it out. Entered on inside, saw that another individual was in there trying to just take the loot. Probably not the same stuff that you're looking for. Nonetheless, they were in there trying to steal some things.
Also not a character we
Fended them
recently
off.
saw.
And you saw on top of this what's it called, the statue of the displacer beast, this massive, like, I don't know, 15-foot tall by like 20-30 feet long displacer beast statue. On top was a lizard folk creature. They seemed deathly sick, and as they came out from behind the shadows, they basically just asked for your help, and you decided to help them. Mr. Paladin Man took them to the residential district where you met Sergeant Foe and eventually Nurse Lamtora.
Lentora.
And yeah, she helped Mr. Lazador out. you heard from Sergeant Vo that there were some weird happenings going on the construction site, which you guys headed to and tried to sneak in on during the nighttime, which didn't find anything because you didn't look in the right spot.
Okay, yeah. There's a little bit. There's gonna be some plot holes here because a lot of shit happened in Curville Hills. Just to like give that thing. So
Yeah, and things weren't completely followed through either.
yeah, exactly.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But like, that's just how it was.
Yeah. Ryan
Next
got his
you got
first note too. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, you did get your first note.
I'm gonna pull it on. Screen.
And that's true. Yeah, you're walking on your way towards the construction site, I believe, right?
First note from the mom, yeah. And I was walking, and actually, there was a scene outside of the Windy Strings, and that's when the guards came up.
Mhm.
They're like, "Hey," like, "Rrr." Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. Questioning.
Yep.
If they saw what happened.
And then
I
I don't know if
because
this
of
might have
that
been
kind of
oh, sorry.
distraction too.
Yeah.
No, you're good. So because of like the distraction of it,
Yeah.
you felt like almost shoulder checked, and then a note
Yep.
kind of appeared.
And
Don't know
then
the source of them, but signed mother.
we got. I don't know if this was before or after we checked out the construction site, but because it became my notes. It's in my notes before we met Lentora, so I imagine it happened before then, and it was. I think when we left the bar in the morning to go to the shrine.
Scheduled doctor's appointment.
Hold on.
Turned in expenses. Hit the gym.
Another ad.
Got to your to-do list. Eat healthy today. Take your vitamins.
Sorry.
You're good.
Oh, I effed it up anyways. Cool. Never mind. There's no point to me changing scenes. I have that they were celebrating for like the first water flow in Curville Hills. Aqua for
Yes.
Via Suciubuladio. Definitely butchered it, but I have it written down, so.
It was a celebration of water, hence
Yeah.
all the people in the town, and like the water itself brought life
oh
to the
gosh.
community, so they kind of worshipped it.
Aqua for Via Suciubuladio. You picked a word from a different language. I remember this.
I did, and I
Yeah,
combined them together
yeah.
with my brain, and it didn't make any sense. I mentioned that too during the session.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it differently every
Yeah.
single time.
And we met the kid and the old guy. That's all I have in here. Who I know who they are now,
Yep.
but and they lived at the west side of town, second building, right side behind the healer, which then learned Healer Lentor, Nurse Lentor. And then that's when we got all this stuff from the sergeant. After that questioning, right? So we learned. Sorry if you're gonna get to this. I don't know if I'm cutting you off.
You good?
Okay, so yeah, we had the construction site, and we learned about moss creatures taking people. Well, not moss creatures taking people. We learned about some moss creatures in town, and also people going missing, including the person we're looking for, Timon.
Yeah.
And apparently the blue coin depository was robbed, which we didn't know what the blue coin depository was at the time, but now we do, obviously. Yeah, then boom. Our goal was the construction zone.
Yes, and head there you did, twice. Once at night. Got mad at me because you didn't look in the right spot.
Exactly.
And then you continue through. No. Yeah, multiple days of preparation, we'll say.
I still spell Curval with a C to this day. It's
Wrong.
and a U. It's Curval. No, actually, wait.
Like the ice cream.
Yeah, hold on. I put what do I? Yeah, to this day I put Curval. I spelled it completely wrong.
K-E-R-V-A-L. Anyway, you guys acquired construction passes. You saw the Golden Glades for the first time as well.
Yes, that is
You
true.
followed these individuals going through and followed them back to their house like little creeps. Eventually you got your hands on 3, 4 total? 3 or 4
1,
total?
2, 3, 4. We had 4.
Good 4. And went back to Timon's shop. Turns out he was a doppelganger.
Mm-hmm.
Kicked his booty nice and quickly because, yeah. And the peak of the Waterfest,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stands and vendors were out and about on the
Yeah.
streets, and he smelt some burning something within the air. He headed on over, and he saw actually, 2 of you guys headed on over, while the other 2 went to the Blue Coin to try to talk to some people.
Yep, I was gonna say that. So you got that?
And those 2 headed over and saw a half-elf individual, as Fred, burning waffles, and his shop basically just burnt down. He's not doing too hot. Yeah. And you guys continued through, went to the Blue Coin, started to ask some questions, and got some answers. Elazador invested. You guys learned that there's some sort of like tunnel system underneath the Blue Coin led to the river, and only the Gragaborian gold was stolen. None of the other gold has been removed. That gold hasn't been used in decades, so they were kind of questioning what was going on.
We know where
At the
that
end of the
ended
day-
up now.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, you do.
Over the table, technically, but yeah.
All 528,000 gold pieces. I did the math.
Jesus.
Not all from Blue Coin, obviously, from all over
Okay.
the island, from
Yeah, yeah.
different spots and stuff. But like Blue Coin had the majority of it. And yeah, at the end of the day, you guys, the troublemakers, saw the crowds starting to head towards the center lake in Kerbal Hills. Coming from the water district, everybody was kind of funneling on through, kind of getting ready to celebrate the water's arrival. And these moss creatures leaped into the air and started to unleash havoc on the rest of the crowd, helping the Curval Guard
Mm-hmm.
fight them. Was the next
Gotta
day.
take this note out of here. This note doesn't make sense.
And near-death experience with Gunther. Peaches headed over to his rescue, and this allowed the moss creature to pull him back into the water,
Gunther
take him
was
alive.
the kid. There was a kid and a
Grandpa.
blind man. Oh, sorry, yeah, the old man. And this is when that comes back around. We met these guys at the start of that day, and then we
Yeah.
saw them here getting
Well,
attacked. It was the
You
day before.
formally got introduced to them that day, but you met
Yeah.
them also. You met them in front of Timon's shop. You were
Yeah,
asking
yeah,
them
that's
questions about them.
that's why I mentioned that
Yeah.
earlier. It was like I know they come up later, so
Yes, gotcha. Yep. Yeah, and then found out where they lived. Well,
Mhm.
the kid told you where they lived
Yep.
in case you needed anything.
Yep.
And after the fight, you guys were chilling at the bar inside the Corgan Inn, and you heard some music playing on the outside where you met another member who is no longer with us, Alaric Silverwind. And you guys entered into the construction site with the pass that you've obtained, while some deception also being useful. Followed up the waterfall. You saw a connecting pipe. It's identical to the one in the Blue Coin with the identical moss residue on it. Overlooked. And saw Peaches heard some skittering coming through it. Peaches heard some skittering coming from it, and moss creatures came out. And these golden glazed eyes of construction workers also got entangled in the battle. And Elazador called out before it was even mentioned that, hey, I bet you when you go in the waterfall. And yeah, went to the waterfall. You found Real Timon locked up in Sludge's lair. Sludge, for visual sake, is he's a beefy guy. He's like 10 feet by 10 feet, just like an octopus
mass.
looking
Yeah.
tendrils, mass of existence with like nice long, well kept tendril beard. He stunk. He had spores on his back that released some sort of toxin, but that's besides the point. Good guy when you get to know him, but he's dead now. And
I mean, he was
Elazador
evil.
looked
Come
at-
on.
he was 100%. He was just pure constructive weirdness.
Yeah.
Lazador found some bones in the water. Looks like an average amount of
Yeah.
bone for the people that were missing. So it kind of
That's when
made sense as to where they were going.
we found the boots for Carl.
That's when, yep. That's when
And-
he found the boots in the barrel.
Oh, do we ever use the scroll of invisibility that we got?
Nope.
Do we still have that?
You should, yeah.
Ooh.
Unless Lucius had it, but I don't think he did.
I don't think I let him touch that.
I don't think he did. I'm
Because
pretty
I
sure
went
Carl
in
has
the barrel. I remember that I went in the barrel.
it. Yeah. And then you guys have there's a couple things that you haven't used.
Yeah.
Steve has he has a pole.
Yep, a pole.
Which could have been useful for infiltration. When the spider lady happened,
Yep.
which is like, as well as some other things that you could have bought
Yeah.
over the table.
Oh
There
my
were
gosh.
some fun
Dude.
things that could have been happening, but
I want to. I just feel like there's no reason for me to, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I
What?
should just have fun and play the game. But I really like. I think I voiced this last time. I really want for Orion to get a wolf head, like,
Yeah.
thing. I think that'll really like. He doesn't wear headgear or like headpiece. I think it would be so fucking cool to have like a white wolf.
Yeah.
I don't know if white wolf is just a Crackerboard, but like a white I don't I don't like using like, I think I've said this for like other like things as examples, but like to put into perspective, there's a skin for Hanzo in Overwatch where he has like a wolf bat. Oh my god, it's so cool. That's what I think of.
that's cool. And it's like, it's also fitting though too,
Yeah.
because Iguchi chooses like this Blazer Beast thing. So
Mhm.
Ryan having his own thing would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it. You have like,
I'm sure
you
there's stuff we
have-
missed too.
well, oh yeah, 100%. You have as a group right now 6,000 gold pieces that you could spend.
True,
Which is like,
a
it's
lot.
not
No,
it's
that's a
not too
lot.
much. It's a good amount though.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could definitely get your hands on at least one high level, like high
thing,
level,
Yeah.
good enchanted thing.
Yeah.
Or spend a couple hundred gold pieces.
I
you
like
guys
my
up.
stuff right now. Okay, that
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's directed towards the rest of the group because I really love what I
Yeah.
have.
Well, I was even thinking that
Yeah.
today, because like my head is usually there
Yeah.
most days. And I was like, well, you have the shield that you're still trying to figure
and the
out.
spear.
You have the spear that you're trying to figure
Yep.
out, which, I mean, you know this, but the spear does, I should say.
Yeah.
Plus the helper, the
Mhm.
spectral helper, and the well, whatever helm is.
We'll see.
And yeah, no, everybody else, spend your money, please.
And then- yeah, I think if I were to get anything, it'd be armor for sure. More different armor.
Mhm.
Like I definitely lost the things. Well, we'll get to that, but
Yeah. And fought, defeated Sludge.
fuck.
You lost Jackass. Tried to find him. Found him in an alleyway talking to animals. Orion, you weren't here. You came in late. And started to ask some questions to Timon.
No.
He said that he would meet you back at back in Berksville because he didn't want to journey with you. He'd
Mhm.
rather have gone his own separate way, headed
Yep.
back by himself. While you guys traveled to Port Ace, and Fred got mad at the reasonably priced map according to all other sources about D&D,
Oh,
and fired an Eldritch Blast at him in Port Ace. This was when on the way there, while you guys were leaving on the trail,
smoke.
did something happen in the town, or was it on the trail?
I just wanted to mention when we talked to Timon after that. That was when he dropped all the lore of the story on us.
Mhm.
I just don't know if you wanted to mention that at all, but that's up to you.
That's, I mean,
he
that could
the-
be a video for another time.
Yeah,
'cause that's,
true,
that's
true.
a lot of.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's just like
A
it's
lot.
like a whole half of my page on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, a lot has unfolded at that
Oh,
point.
but the reason we were going to Port Ace, we could mention that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. He wanted you to go to get his boat, to get a ship to sail to the which Peaches deemed as the name of them, which I thought was fun, so I just kept with it. But there were islets out like on the outer area around Gragabor. And they're called the islets now, which is, that's a thing. Thanks, Peaches. But he's like, yeah, go get my boat. It's locked up. Hopefully, should be usable. And yeah, y'all headed there, because why not? While
Yep.
he headed by himself to Bassfall.
Yep.
To meet back up with everybody else. Cool. As you guys were heading that way, through a rock, caught a rock, Fred saw smoke, yada yada yada, looked at the smoke, decided it was of their best interest to stay away from trouble.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that you were talking to Peaches about that too. I think Peaches had an insight on that.
Yeah.
And just wanted to continue to walk through at the junction heading towards Berksel, which is a town that you guys have gotten to later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you arrived at Port Ace. It was a very quiet, desolate, well kept fishing town. You saw a map merchant, again, selling a reasonably priced map. Fred got mad, fired an Eldritch Blast at him. Turns out he just so happened to fire an Eldritch Blast at the area where the main bad was in the. This spider lady climbed through from the ceiling in your spider form as you lose and dropped around the town, almost like a bubble, like just surfacing through the dingy, grimy, dirty, fallen apart town with different humanoid cocoons of spider web. Just her food basically hung from the walls, and a slight rumble started to happen on the ground itself as, dozens upon dozens upon dozens of little gold mites started to jump from the windows. Yeah, that was fun, and y'all fought her. She was pretty hurt from things that are still, well, she's dead, that you know of, and can't really question why she was tired, but she was tired. Fought her. She turned invisible. Ran off with the golden creatures. Saw her again. Go watch the. Nope, can't, because it's not on the air. You can watch half the episode. But yeah, turns out the town was an illusion. You guys went back down to the docks after the fight, after getting hurt, and Lucius had some OP nonsense runes that just appeared out of nowhere. And went through the different cargo structures on the dock, 2 of which are still not discovered yet.
Yep.
While the other one was across from the dock, across from the structure where his boat was kept, some sort of storage structure where Timon also asked Lucius to grab some components for his potion brewing. And Lucius saw an open door, looked at it, looked back, described this all in words, looked at it again, looked back, looked at it again, and head back into the rest of the players, leaving without collecting Timon's very valuable and necessary items. The one thing Timon asked for. And to see the spies within who ended up following you to Bassfall. Oh well, and headed out there, set your sails. Orion, big strong guy, opened the door and headed out to the Gorgon
Tempted
Sea.
to push a boat.
Yep.
Almost. I was so scared I was gonna die. I was like, "Fuck, that was a bad
Get
choice."
squished by the boat.
Yeah, I was so scared.
It would have been fun. Early on, me wouldn't have thought about that. But,
yeah.
You guys
Sailed out.
sailed out. Eventually, saw the silhouette of a boat approaching behind you. Decided to speed it up.
We're getting close.
Crashing full speed into a wall of fog, tearing your boat completely apart. Fred's home of a traveling shop, still attached to Jackass at that point, is probably somewhere. Is again 100% actually somewhere on the bottom of the Gorgon Sea, with Timon's ship and the other ship beside you. You saw a flaming skull kind of come and warn you, like, don't keep going forward. An Audi and her crew, an Audi Zug, and the
So
others
sad.
are, go watch the other videos. You'll find out. But they came to your rescue, asked some questions. Lazador saw a picture and had a moment with it. That was a really fun
Last interaction.
but also like DM to player connection. I think that was one of my favorite connections between me and a player.
Yeah.
And then life stuff came up, and he's back now. That's what matters. Glad to have you back, bud. But yeah, saw some things, questionable things. Anadi gave some lore. Turns out Timon and Anadi are siblings, and Anadi isn't very fond of the group. I lied. Anadi had a lover, Lumi, that was in the group, and she has left because she was upset and kind of grieving them. Timon and Dee are siblings, half siblings.
It is very late. I want to keep that.
It is very late.
Yeah.
And yeah,
We went to Bassfall. Back to Port Malik.
Decided to come back. Back to Port
That's what we
Malik.
were talking about earlier. First time
That's
we
what it
got
was.
back.
That's how you got there.
Yeah, first time
I
we
understand
got back
now.
to meet Captain Furman
Yes.
after losing his horses, and we were so worried about
Yes.
it that we didn't even realize that we got through. Like, I think he asked, we were like, here's some gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Then
Yes,
we
that's
went
what
to
it was. I got that. I got that all backwards. Then he went
Mhm.
to Bassfall, back into D's secret chambers, where he
Learned
saw
about
some
everything.
spies. Learned about everything. Too much lore for right now.
Yep.
We
Learned it. We
There
were supposed to go to
were-
Berksel for something specific. That's why we.
Yep.
That's what our next goal was. But yeah, there was some spies that we heard. And Lucius beheaded.
Yep. That you now know were part of the tea leaves.
Mm-hmm.
They all had tea leaf coins, and that's why they were invisible. Yeah, did your things.
Yeah.
Headed
to
off to Berksel to grab the book from Burr's books.
That was our goal.
That was the goal. Yep. And I mean, find out more about what's going on. If there's any books on the a place she called Shadowfell. And yeah, you guys headed over there.
And this is when storyline started to like whoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You're gonna journey to Berksel. Saw some falling Cyclops at Agmore Farms.
Yep.
Decided to stop at Kerbal Hills again,
Mm-hmm.
and Lucius robbed AJ Gems.
Yep.
Got caught and
I got blamed.
got out. Orion got blamed for it.
Got out of that though.
With a wanted poster. Wanted dead or alive, but just wanted to be talking to. And then you guys set out for camp late one night, and because nobody kept watch and all of your passive perception sucked, Orion, you got kidnapped. And yeah, while the rest of the group continued to travel, they saw wanted posters on the trees leading up to the bridge that headed over towards Berksel. Saw Carl's wanted poster. That is yet to be taken care of.
Yeah.
mind you.
You also noticed
and-
that Carl's character is a certain character from a certain game because he just picked like the pre-made thing, so don't worry about that. But
Yeah, not important. And yeah, did some things. Over the table, his bounty has gone up.
Okay.
And it's gonna probably continue to go up because he hasn't taken care of the threat. However, Ryan, you woke up in a torture chamber. You met an Aarakocra, golden glaze in his eyes, Officer Durag, Officer Durak.
Do-rag.
You met another individual who is no longer with us, because of Carl got her mad.
Actually,
she's gone.
yeah. Sorry, I wanted to mention that. Yeah, it was at the point when we got to Port Malik that we lost Carol. Well, not Carol.
Elazador.
Yeah, Elazador and Lucius. That was the last session for, I think, both of them.
Unlock a new world of efficiency.
I think Lucius was a
Yeah.
little earlier though. I think he might have been the one
Identify
before.
strategic work, projects,
But
and
yeah,
goals.
sorry. There was that. Yep.
Couple
Try
together.
Yeah.
today at
But
Asana.com.
all these people. Sorry.
You're good. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron, you woke up in a torture chamber, all tied up. Eric Cocker held a gem up to your chest. Got mad because it didn't glow. And Golden Glaze, Officer Dirac, you escaped through the tunnels. While the rest of the crew met a individual, while Fred fell into a trance, a waffle trance, seemingly just floating back into the chambers of Fluffy. Fluffy Stacks Emporium.
I have a heart next
Best
to
spot.
Fluffy.
Yeah, he's a G.
Yeah.
That you know of, and Orion, with the help of a silhouette of an individual, Izanami, you followed the vents back to Fluffy's. You ride with the others well through the duct system, and Fluffy picked you up, and you convinced him to throw you back down, and he left you down there because you were a tunnel dweller. Izanami was introduced. Peaches had a vision that was kind of painful. The first real vision seeing this dragon that was standing there as Shaka. Fred learns the way of the waffle from Fluffy from practice, and he did a delivery for Fluffy.
Yep.
During Peaches' vision, she saw a certain individual and saw herself delivering a package. And then when Fluffy asked to do the same name came up, and different things played out. It was a little bit more extreme in her vision than it was on the delivery, we'll just say. And yeah, that was fun. You guys did somewhat investigation, not too far into it.
Yeah.
Which is we chilling, but you ended in the Dizzy, which is a tavern and an inn.
Mr. Sir.
Yep, with Mr. Sir, and you saw what looked like the Unicus Force around the table. Y'all ran around town, bought some stuff. Peaches saw Captain Furman, and also the Iniquitous Four heading towards the Dancing Lantern. Captain Furman was heading deeper into the my brain is so slow right now. Piercing Point, which is like a
armory,
an outdoor like farmer's market for weapons kind of thing. Followed him down there, turned back because she got afraid again, which don't blame her considering what you guys saw the outcome was. And yeah, knowing all that information, went to Burr's Books to get that out of the way.
We met Fino here too. Fino was before Burr's Books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Again, I'm just saying it's my notes. I just mentioned it. I think because the thing that happened in the alleyway was before we did the dungeon, and then we met Fino.
Was that before?
I think it. Well, maybe it. I think it was because, unless it wasn't, because it looks like I wrote in two different pens, but like. The Fino stuff I have down, like, it's just this Fino, Carl, friend from Berkshire, works in Arcane Division, blah, blah, blah. And then he told us about everything that happened. Yeah, I think that happened before the dungeon, because I have that, and then on the next page, no, it didn't happen, because I remember what I did. What I did was, I saw how much little area I had left, so then I started writing on the next page for the dungeon. Because I whenever we do a dungeon, I write out what it looks like on my paper. If you don't give us a map initially, I write it down. But now you give us a map for everything, which is fucking amazing.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
I wrote it down, and then I definitely went back after that happened and wrote down the space I left. So that's my bad, actually. Fino wasn't until after.
Yeah,
Burr's Books.
I didn't think so. Yes, Burr's Books, and he's a weird like half crow creature. And he showed you down to his creepy little basement where you entered in through a shadow dungeon where the book was kept. Made your way through the dungeon, different traps and obstacles. Fought some constructs of flying books and different page creatures and stuff like that, which was fun. Fought a giant adult page dragon.
Yeah.
Made of like the wings itself are made of like the leather backings of the books. teeth was made out of the like an origami dragon basically. That's just you think of a dragon, but paper. Anyway, you got some loot, got the hilt, Orion, and you had it in your inventory and your backpack for a couple sessions after that, and then decided to sit with it once more and connect to it. And turns out, big fancy spear.
Yeah.
You
Whoa.
guys leaving the dungeon, conquered your own shadows. You
The
were pretty
spear?
hurt, Orion.
Spear didn't happen for a while after that.
Yeah, that was a long time after that.
Oh, you're saying yeah? Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, no,
That's
yeah.
when I got it.
Yeah, that's when you got the
Yep,
hilt
I
for
picked it up.
And which that's a fun item too because it's only the way it is because of you. But
Mhm.
if it was like somebody
Lucius.
else with other like, if it was Lucius or Z, you were the only three that would be able to do anything with it because Peaches would be able to too because she's a paladin. But like nobody else has any divinity or darker energy flowing through them.
Mhm.
So if it was a darker sphere, it'd be all
Yeah.
attack and all hate. But
Mm.
because you're like a healer, you have more of the healing effects on it, which
Okay.
is kind of fun. So, and sorry. Anyway, there's other loot you guys got. So you got some things, whatever, some gold pieces and stuff, as well as some other. I forget what else you got. Too late for this.
Mhm.
You saw leaving the dungeon itself. You saw Alazador and in his shadow form, seemingly like he was there already before you guys, and has gotten out. You went back from Burr's books as you entered through. Nobody was there, middle of the day. You went back to the inn. Carl saw a Masno Guild street trooper, Orion and Peaches. You had a vision bringing you both together in a bright white and yellow light. Yeah.
And that's what I had my dream.
Yep.
And I have.
Yeah. That's when Helm popped out.
Yep.
Um,
Doggy.
and fun fact, it was up to you which creature you decided to follow through with, and it so happened to be Helm. And we've been running with that ever since. Which is fun. And yeah, the Carl met up with his friend, met up with Fino.
That's where this comes in.
Yep. Where some information was spoken of, and the Masno Guild was talked, as well as acquired some goods for Fred. You guys made it to the Dancing Ledge again, and you guys went to gamble.
Let me pull that up.
Some
Custom games were made.
Yeah, custom games were made. Is your mommy created a little bit of tension with Grant, one of the Iniquitous 4 members. Sent them a note. Rant returned a note back, and Izanami was taken into the penthouse with the Iniquitous 4 because you guys, again, if you guys didn't buy the penthouse, you guys wouldn't even know that they were up there unless you snuck up there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that like whole event, you would have seen the Iniquitous 4, but you wouldn't have worked with them.
Yep. Learned all about them.
And learned all about them. Fought an Ibex inside the Iniquitous 4. Proved you were worthy of them. You guys went back up with, this is 30 sessions in, by the way. You guys went back up with Fino, getting a little bit more frantic. You got a ticket for the night showing of Bards on the Rocks. Watch the showing. You just had another vision.
Yep.
Orion, Fred, and Izanami stopped a terrible hag and burned her house down.
Yep. It is canon. It is canon.
It is.
And
yeah.
there is
I mean, the house is burning down.
There is a dead guy at the guard's watch place now too, canonically. Remember they killed that guy at the front desk?
Yep. At the guards barracks. They one of the clerics that was working there.
Oh! Never mind, that wasn't till later.
Behind a table.
That wasn't till later.
That was
That was after I
later.
Died.
Yeah. You all went to the speakeasy where you saw where Peach saw Captain Furman enter into as the next session.
Flying Owlbear.
No. Yes, that was the password. Yep, gotcha. My brain is so slow. I apologize.
Flying
I
Owlbear.
was like, where did that come from? No, yeah, that was the password to come in. Encountered a. I was reading this when you were saying that. You
Mhm.
saw like a flying shadowed cloak, identical
Oh.
to Zug's. No, identical to a name. What was Zug?
Zug. Zug is part of a Naughty's crew.
Yeah.
Zug is the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Bronze Dragonborn.
The cloak is identical to Zug's of the Iniquitous Four. No, not the Iniquitous Four, of Anati's crew. I
Yep.
keep saying
You're
that.
good. Keep pushing. Keep on
The
going.
cloak, shadow, same as Zug. Cool. And they're 4 shadowed companions.
Wait,
can
were
we
they?
spell?
They were.
They were like feline like creatures.
No. Was the Naughty's crew? By that point, were they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Crazy.
For
Wow. Holy shit. We spent a lot of time.
for 6 sessions before that,
Mm-hmm.
which was 3 days. So they were gone around a week by the time we saw them. Yeah.
Still need therapy after that.
And yeah, went inside the thing. Flying shadow, Zug's cloak, shadow companions. Here it is. Gem. Fred realized that there was a gem that was controlling Izanami, who was causing her to freak out. Threw a rock at you. No, threw a bone at you.
Well, that was
Orion
on the
died.
bookcase. It fell off the bookcase. Bashed my head. After the bone had already bashed it.
Yep.
And
Dead.
I died, technically.
Yep. All while this was happening, Carl was by himself in the underground.
Yeah,
where
that's right.
He met up with Orth, another old companion, when he was down there. Ryan had his first divine interaction with yes.
What?
Yeah. You had your first divine interaction. Talked to them. And
Mom.
talked to your mom and chose to come back to life.
I was given a choice.
And
Then
yeah,
with
went to
and
the Dancing
that's-
Lantern.
Yep.
For the
Right.
exchange that went south.
And with the map pieces.
Ended with math pieces that were coming out, zombie-like people walking throughout. That was one of my favorite, like, tense interactions so far, like the combat moments. That was a lot of fun. There's a giant shadow-looking samurai stood on top of the stage, giant sword,
Well,
katana,
I hate to
lizard.
tell you this, Logan,
thumper. Yeah, what?
but we're all caught up.
That's true.
And I was catching up
Damn
with
it.
the troubles.
Yeah,
Where we're
we
all
all
from.
caught up. Damn, a lot happened.
Yep, Jackass was still Jackass in Berkslow. And then from that fight, everything about the underground, everything with Izanami, that's all recorded.
Yep.
Norjor. So, wow. This was good, though, for me as well, unpacking this, because now, like, that helps me, at least a lot with the story, because
And
seeing shit I don't remember, it's like, wow, like, seeing it now, like, holy shit, like, wow.
And that's like I feel like you 100% asked questions on like the individual that you saw, like with the cloak.
Mhm.
Asked if you've seen them before or
It was
have
so
seen them since.
confusing.
And that's why I couldn't say anything
Mhm.
because it's like you wouldn't have known until you saw this individual that was
Mhm.
sitting there at the bar. You saw the individual at the bar in the Masno Underground when you were at the Blues and Bruises
Yep.
Fight Club. Same one.
The
That's
same one that
the,
was in the
yeah.
Speakeasy?
No, no. Same one that was in Orpheus's tavern at the table.
Oh, you're talking about the arrow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Same one.
Yeah, that blew my mind. That how long Anadi's crew was, doing their thing. Wow. I think it's also
Anadi's crew.
Yeah.
When you set off from Berksel the second time.
Yeah.
It took a. Yeah, it was like when you arrived in Berksel.
Yeah.
That first time, which was a while of a journey.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it would be so like when you were kidnapped is when they met
Yeah.
their end.
Wow.
The timeline makes not 100% sense, but like just for the sake of everything,
Yeah.
that's that's what I'll say
Yeah.
is that's exactly when what happened had happened.
Because we definitely had a lot of long rests in between then.
You did.
But long rests that were not.
Nadi,
Yeah. They were
right,
needed.
and Nadi also 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nadi also took some long rest because that journey from
Mhm.
Baxfall to
Yeah.
Port Malik
Fuck.
is a couple
Sorry to interrupt.
couple days long.
Quite annoying.
So
Like a
yeah,
stuffy
timeline lies that makes sense. By the time you were kidnapped was exactly when whatever was done to Nadi's crew was done to Nadi's crew.
Yeah.
Who was
That-
it? Why'd they do it? Keep watching, you could find
Yeah.
out.
What I was gonna say that learning that and then about what else did I read about that I was like whoa. Yeah, all just crazy stuff. Oh, and the when we went to Port Ace and the spies, like we didn't even know the spies were there.
No,
Yeah,
they were though.
yeah.
They were like, I had a whole thing set up. I have a whole note that we didn't
Oh.
even use. That's in my thing.
I
That's
th-
like,
I think, yeah.
yeah.
I think you mentioned it, but the Wet Dream's in, huge deal. Fred loves it. It's basically a place, you have a wet
Forgot
dream. Yeah, so
That's in
it's
Port
in
Ace.
Port Ace.
Yep.
Before the whole thing happened with the Spider Lady, we were there.
Yep.
And there, actually, I think Port Ace was also the place that I got pissed. No, because I hadn't lost my stuff yet, so never mind. No, so we had that, and we got cool new appearance items on. There was the clothing shop that we got cool shit from. But
Fitz
kinda-
Fabric, yep.
you kind of got that shit kind of disappeared. I'm saying canonically it disappeared. I don't know if this is true because everyone forgot about it. But when Port Ace kind of
Everyone forgot about it. Yeah.
fell from their spell, we lost all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, you also when the spell fell and like all the fabric was torn and
Yeah,
weathered.
yeah.
You're looking at
So,
which I think I mentioned that. I don't remember, but
but that was everything.
that's what actually happened.
Yeah. So, this is good.
Big question from you, Ryan. You're the only one here. You get one
Hey,
kudo point.
what was the fucking smoke?
The smoke?
Yeah, in the woods.
That's a side quest kind of thing.
Okay.
And Fred would have gotten a cool staff from it.
Damn.
You would have fought. It was like a.
Wait, he got the staff anyway. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's he. It was like I forget exactly what it was. Something with a snake, and he would have had like a snake companion to like
What?
see out of his eyes and stick like going. And
Dude.
the
Alright.
combat would have been like miniature animated armor that was like just kind of following you guys throughout as soon as you walked in. It's like
Yeah.
the hag's house. The hag wouldn't have been there, and once you guys have made known, they were like trying to motion towards a potion, and if one of you guys flipped the lever, gas would have filled the room, and they would have been full sized and
Wow.
fucked you up.
Wow. Well,
That didn't happen.
yeah. Good job, Logan. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode, which will air probably before this one, honestly. So, yeah. See ya.
See you tomorrow.